This is Mitch, and I'm here with Sieg, and we're going to be talking about e-commerce, a little bit off the beaten path. But when I started this podcast, I said I wanted to appeal to four categories of people. Real estate investors first, because that's where I'm from and that's how I know to talk. Then entrepreneurs, because if you're not good at this, I just want you to find something that you're good at, that you're in control of, that you can remove the glass ceiling from your world and go and be whoever you need to be. So I started out with what I knew, so real estate investing, and then just entrepreneurialism in general. And then, of course, who doesn't need inspirational or motivational? So if I covered those four things, I was more than likely willing to have a conversation with you on this podcast. And so today, timely as it is, given the world conditions, we're right down the very beginning of at least a 15-day lockdown for the world on coronavirus. We're talking about online sales. What better timing can that be, So we're going to be talking about online sales. Right now, I need to pay homage to my sponsor. If you'll give me 1 second, Ann. Please visit taxfreefuture.com. If you do not have an account that can grow tax deferred or tax free, you have no idea the disadvantage you are at. It's incredible to grow tax free or tax deferred. Please go watch the 37 little video vignettes. You have to give us a little bit of micro information. I promise you, they won't beat you up with a bunch of information every day or hound you. We're going to turn over 37 video vignettes, and they're going to explain to you what these financial advisors are not telling you, why they're not telling you, and then you can do with it what you want. But it has changed my life. And go see taxfreefuture.com, because you have no idea what your financial advisors are not telling you. All right. How was that? That was my commercial. Okay.
That was a great commercial.
All right. So, Ann, where are you sitting physically? Where do you do business? Tell us where you're at first off.
Okay. I reside in Bella Vista, Arkansas. I moved from Minnesota, which was my home state. And we had actually lived in Arkansas previously, but moved back. Now we're back again. And so we are about 9 miles from downtown Bentonville, the home of Walmart.
All right. So, first note to self, probably not a business mecca, So you're doing this business from someplace, can be done probably any place, right?
Oh yeah, laptop will travel.
So any place you can get a strong internet connection, you're good.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your history. Where you're from, how'd you grow up, and what gave you the nerve to get into online anything?
Okay, well, born and raised in Eagan, Minnesota. My dad was is a physicist. He's turning 91 and he's still busy inventing. He's trying to bring a product to market, etc. So 91 years of age. And then my mother is a teacher. So my dad was a professor for some time at University of St. Thomas. So I was raised by educators, and I had this kind of conveniently, I grabbed this right before the call. I started my entrepreneurialism when I was very young. I learned how to make hand knitted bells from my grandma. And so I made these, and there are 3 different colors. And my mom said, Ann, you could go out in the neighborhood and sell those. So she set me up with my store, and it was a white paper box. And it had, she showed me the dollars and the 50 cents and how to change the money. So I was around 7 years old, and these were back in the good old days when kids went off without their parents helicoptering around them all the time. And the coolest thing is when I went out into the neighborhood to sell these bells, is I literally sold all my bells, my first time out. So I'll never forget, literally I can feel it in my hands when I was walking home. I grew up in the suburbs at that time. It made a rustling sound in the box. And that rustling sound was commerce. I was a merchant. As a wee child, and not like that catapulted me right from then, but I will never forget it.
Sound of money. The sound of money.
It was the sound of money is exactly what it was. So it's been quite a path. My husband and I have had a number of businesses. The first one was Dino Kid Growing Chart. He drew this because our youngest he loved dinosaurs. So what do you know? My husband pulls together this beautiful drawing. We actually still have some of them, and sold those through science museums throughout the country. Most prominently, of course, in our hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota. From there, we had a windshield replacement business for 12 years, which my husband really loved because he's a hands-on guy. He had gotten trained up in bookkeeping and whatnot, had a cubicle job and absolutely detested working in a cubicle. So he quit that even after I kind of helped him go through schooling and whatnot. It was like, it wasn't for him. That's okay. That happens in life. And the number one skill we can have in the 21st century is the ability to adapt or die, is what I like to say. But nonetheless, so we had that for 12 years. I also homeschooled my kids for 12 years and was extremely entrepreneurial focused. It's really Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, that really sparked more of my entrepreneurialism, even though we already had it. We're just like, breathe it, my husband and I. But I started to see it through a different lens because of Cash Flow Quadrant, going from the E to the S into the B, true B. It was
makes you think, right? Makes you think.
Makes you think.
What am I doing? Because if you don't understand like the E quadrant, then you end up as an entrepreneur just getting a glorified job that's even worse than a job, because if it ever fails, your name's on the bottom line.
That's right. Yep. You're just a glorified S, as he calls, pretty much a solopreneur. You just bought a job. So we had the windshield business, and then a law in the state of Minnesota rolled out. It was an advertising law, and it pretty much wiped out all the small mom and pop business owners. And that had to do with advertising. So that's what I learned, is things rarely stay stable. Okay. They just don't, especially online, they don't. But anyways, all to say, we had that, and that was really, really fantastic business while we had it. But I was homeschooling, and it's because I wanted to be in charge. As you know, I'm gonna decide what my kids learn, and I had a lot of confidence in that because both my parents were teachers, so it was very natural for me. But basically, they were brought into all our businesses, including real estate investment, which we did for a number of years. We pulled equity out of our house. We went through, back in the day, it was Carlton Sheets. It must be 20.
That was me too, Carl.
That's right. 25 years ago. And let's learn this too. You know, we're dribbling this basketball, and let's do this basketball. And I was a sports coach for 15 years as well. And I also did direct sales. So I am able to juggle a lot. And that's just kind of my nature, is I go and I dribble balls and I get it done. I can shoot the hoop.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Another ADHD multitasking entrepreneur. Surprise.
Yeah, pretty, and organizational. I'm going to say, I really believe that ability to organize and then to project manage, to know how to project manage, especially.
That's where you lost half of us. There you go. You're out. We have to hire that.
Yeah, if you don't have it, you can outsource it. You get an expert to come in and clean up your weakness, because it's all about playing to your strengths. If you have weakness, those can be amply supplied. That's how it works. But we all have unique strengths, and that's the beautiful thing, is that you can complement with someone. So my husband and I. But then what happened is my eldest son actually sponsored me into a business when he was 18. Now, I told him, I gave him free reign to do as many businesses as he wanted in high school. And I said, I don't know if you're going to, succeed or not, but I do know one thing: you're going to learn something. And learn he did. And he learned, and he learned, and he learned, and he learned. So when we partnered up, so we were doing direct sales together, and it didn't go very well for him. I was doing quite well, selling really well. This is network marketing, but my people weren't duplicating me. So the real catalyst that brought me into the online space is, so while my son, no one was taking him seriously about hey, here's a business opportunity, he started to study online marketing. He studied affiliate marketing and copywriting, and he became the top affiliate by age, it was either 20 or 21, for Best Western, Walmart, Get Response. So he was a top affiliate, and it served him really well, because one time he wiped out on a motorcycle going 95 miles an hour in a crotch rocket, and he had no worries about missing his job because he was making all his money online at age 21. So this was then the catalyst that then I started to study that independently. And then we forged aligned forces, and it was in 2005. And we went from $3,000 to $90,000 a month, mostly through Google AdWords, and we were selling someone else's product. Then we're like, let's sell our own. So we created our own digital marketing. Our first ebook was $4.2 million in sales. And this whole thing of funnel building, it's called, that's what I taught for quite a number of years. And it is it's a different land all unto itself. here when we have our feet to the ground and buying real estate, which we did, we had the boys go over and they had to help shovel and they had to help paint. And my feeling always was with my sons is, no, there's no handouts here. You want something, you're going to work for it. That's just the way I ran the household is we are a family unit. We work together. There's no kids get to loaf around while parents work their butts off and, you know, let the kids have kind of a little more the tone of the culture today where kids are sequestered or secluded from the real world of work and entrepreneurialism. We immerse them into it. For example, when I did Avon, everyone knows Avon, my kids were like 3 and 5 years old. They went out in the neighborhood with me and they saw mom be a merchant in the marketplace. So my eldest son, he bought 2 pieces of real estate when he was either 19 or 20. And then our middle son became a leasing agent for 5 years. Now he lives in China, which I can speak rather at length about Corona because he just went through the 2-month quarantine over there. Yeah. So anyway, so my son and I had aligned forces, and then I shifted into e-commerce the fall of 2013. And the main reason is this, so that people can learn something about online marketing. Online marketing is great, but you're going to have to become an expert at traffic and conversions, because you can get traffic, but you've got to convert it into sales. So there's that whole piece.
Traffic's not cheap.
It's not cheap, and it's a whole skill set unto itself, whether you're doing YouTube ads, Facebook ads.
So I wanted to ask, it was when you said you went from 3,000 to 90,000 a month. But how much was net? Was that gross 90,000 or net 90,000?
That was gross. This was selling.
Because you could spend $50,000 generating that money easy, so you net, 40,000.
Exactly.
It's still a far cry from 3,000. It's hats off, but I didn't want anyone to get there's a little bit more to the picture. So
absolutely.
How much was going out to generate 90,000 gross?
Yeah. So I don't remember those numbers so much as that was someone else's program. And then my son said, Mom, if we sell our own, our profit will be a whole lot bigger. So every evolution we made was just solving a problem to better enhance our profits. So with that, I do recall when we used Google AdWords, we had about a $10 to $15 profit off a $67 ebook. Well, it becomes literally a pure money machine at that point. You can't pour enough money in because as long as you're making profit, 15 bucks. So we were doing up to about 100 grand in Google AdWords at that time per month. And so
the formula is if I spend $10,000 and it nets me this much, then if I want to make 3 times this much, I got to spend $30,000. And so the question is, how much can you put in?
Exactly. Yep. So it's a matter about being judicious and wise and funneling that right back in. Plus it's about what's called having a back end, an ascension funnel. So when we were brand new, we didn't have much of an ascension funnel. We used someone else's. Well, we had a free back office training that we gave, but then we referred them on to other services, affiliates, because we didn't have the bandwidth at that time. We weren't at that level. But I sure have learned back-end sales. I've been doing it for 15 years. This is how long I've been doing online marketing, but then shifting into e-commerce the fall of 2013. And what I saw with my students and their results were like immediate. So the reason I shared about the traffic and the cost of that is when you tap into a ready-made funnel like Amazon, they do all the advertising, they have the customer base. There's that learning curve is removed now. And it's big to learn how to do traffic and convert and get the right offer in front of the right audience, etc. Well, Amazon has that audience with credit card on file, prime buyers, 120 million strong. And now there's just one piece left to that equation. As a third-party seller, what product do I sell? That's all that's your challenge then. And that's what we teach now through our platform is called
So there's lots of products to sell, but you're better off if you can find like your own product. I'm very interested in this because I don't know, entrepreneurs see opportunity everywhere they look, and I see opportunity. Now, a lot of this opportunity is I can't stop what I'm doing to go do the little things I see.
Right.
But I see things, but I have a 21-year-old granddaughter who is right now going to college and working for $11 an hour, and I'm saying you should be able to make $11 an hour in your sleep online if you'll just put your mind to it and learn a little bit. You know what I mean? You don't have to be an expert at it. You're not even trying to support a household at this point.
Right.
So you're just trying to get enough running money. We should be able to figure this out. And
100%.
I already know the products I want to sell. And
Yeah.
we'll make them.
Yeah, absolutely. The range is so huge, and Amazon is really, I mean, they're dominating the online space. So relevant right now to the coronavirus, what is happening, and it's not too surprising, is as we know, we see all the memes, people are running out to the stores and they're depleting the toilet paper and the hand sanitizers. We all know this. And so what happens is when the stores run out, they run online. And so 2 days ago, Amazon announced, very converse to the airlines who are looking to be bailed out, is they're hiring 100,000 people right now, 100,000 people. So that is noteworthy that they are having this, I'm not going to say unprecedented growth because their growth has been nothing but upward trending. But so for my third-party sellers, they are very well positioned. They've thrown down the roots, they've learned the skill set, and they get to take advantage of the fact that for this time being, there's this big surge. Now, here's the thing about buying habits and how they become habituated is that by default, there'll be more Prime customers now. Should I go into Prime? Does everyone know what Prime is?
Amazon Prime, well, go ahead and give the definition.
Yeah, so the Prime buyer customer program put together through Amazon, it's brilliant. Basically, you pay an annual fee. As I recall, it went up this past year. I think it's now over $100 if I remember. Mine is annual every year. And it gives you primarily, it's the 2 free day shipping is the main driver, the main motivation for why people upgrade into the Prime. I shop almost entirely online. My husband does our shopping locally, and I just don't have anything to do with that. So if I need something, I just buy it off Amazon. It's here in less than 2 days, and it's free shipping, including big, huge, heavy things. Free shipping because I'm Prime. So that drives that customer base, and I call it the spoil me rotten model. They spoil us rotten as customers, and all the other online stores are working so hard to catch up to Amazon. Going to be tough because they've got this extremely robust infrastructure, because Walmart has fulfilled by Walmart, but it does not compare to the infrastructure that Amazon has, which they started with books. That was the category. And then he's just exploded it, obviously. So as a third-party seller, we likewise correspondingly have a spoil us rotten model as third-party sellers, because Amazon does the bulk of the work, which I look for leverage in business. They've got the leverage in spades. And so now, again, what remains is finding those hot products to sell. And you mentioned about having your own products, is that Amazon, the direction they're going is to be the brand launcher, such that it used to be said, if you're not online, you're not in business. Well, it's going to be, if your brand isn't on Amazon, you're not in business. It's not there yet, but that's where they're going. And that means authors. That means, folks like you, Mitch, and that you gain your presence. And there's Amazon Live, which intends to compete with YouTube, which will be interesting. It'll take a while to catch up to anything close to YouTube, but where you can have a very significant presence on the Amazon seller platform to get your knowledge, if you have books and everything that you have, out into that Amazon marketplace. So I've made the shift, and we have the e-commerce business school, and this is what we teach people, is how to be a seller on Amazon.
So I just think if anyone was lost out there and really didn't know what to do, instead of playing video games, I like to tell people, I'm on the computer playing a game too. I'm on there playing a game. It's called, how many nickels can I make this computer crap into my bank account?
That's right.
That's my game. And if you spend as many hours as some of these kids spend on video games, trying to break the code on how do I get people to send me a check, then when you win, you'll get more than just, I don't know, a bunch of people on a blog wishing they could beat you. so I'm trying to instill that in my young one. And even, so I saw this person selling cowhides on the side of the road. Their whole car is covered in cowhides. And I've been driving by this guy forever. And I was going to need some cowhides for my ranch. I was going to need 7 of them. They're about $200 a piece. I don't know how much he makes, but I'm fixing to find out. But he never had a website address, and he never had a phone number. It was just like, you see my things, pull over and talk to me and buy my stuff. Well, when I wanted to buy him, I couldn't find him. He wasn't there that day. And I went and bought $1,400 worth of bulls, more than that, because some of the ones I picked were more expensive. And I was pulled over one day and said, "Hey, dude, let me give you some business advice. If you want to take it, take it." It says, get you a little sign that you lean up against your car that says joescowhides.com, for God's sake, and a phone number, for God's sake, please. I'm driving by him 5 months later. He still doesn't have it.
Oh, man. It's so painful.
I'm saying this guy's out there almost 3 days a week. He's not doing it because he's not making money. I told my granddaughter, do what he does, but do it better, and you won't have to work for anybody, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
$11 an hour. Here's the greatest thing about not making any money. You don't take much to be your own person. It doesn't take much. The people that got a real problem are the ones, imagine this, that make $500,000 a year, have access to the company Learjet and all the insurance and all the benefits and that stuff. These guys are owned by that company. They'll never be free. They'll never know what it's like to say, you know what? I don't give a crap what day it is. I'm taking my wife to Fiji. They'll never know what that's like because they'll never be in control of their own thing. And so one advantage you have, one of the greatest moments of my life is when I realized that being broke made it real easy for me to be financially free. I just had to find something that would bring in this little tiny amount of money, and then I could tell my boss that I didn't need him anymore. So if you're broke out there, listen to me. This is how it works, because then, just like Ann's story, you get in and your goal is just to make enough to not have to give 2,600 hours to someone else a year. And if you do the math, you go, well, why is it 2,600? Because 8 hours a day is this. I'm going to say, because if you're going to be your own boss, you better be working 10 or 12 hours a day, at least for the first so many years. So I'm saying 2,600 hours. Besides that, if you're not putting 2,600 hours, even if you're only getting paid for 8 hours a day, if you're not a responsible kind of person that will put in the extra hour at home or whatever, then don't go into entrepreneurialism, because it's going to crush you. You know, am I right so far?
Absolutely. And you got to own it.
You got to own it, and you got to be proud of what you're doing. But here's the thing. It's like baby steps, because what was so cool about being an entrepreneur was when I figured out how to move from $11 an hour to $15 an hour, I was 100% recipient. They didn't just give me a day off or a $100 gift certificate and pat me on the back. I made that $3 extra an hour every friggin' hour for the rest of my life. And when I figured out how to get to 25 and 50 and 80, I became the recipient. This old country boy right here never intended to be worth what he's worth or do what he does. But my goal, I never had money goals. My goal was, all right, I'm at this level. How do I get 1 inch higher than that? Just 1 inch. Yeah. So you get in a program like this, like Ann's talking about, you learn the basics and you get a product. And the first goal is get anybody to give you any amount of money. That's the first step. Wow.
Absolutely.
Look, that came in from the outside into my account. It can be done. Now we know it. Now we know it can happen to us. Now the question is, how can you get just a little bit more to come in? And you keep playing the game until one day you might look up and go, holy cow, Jesus, thank you so much.
That's right.
I thought you had that in store for me. It was there all along. I finally decided to apply myself and treat it like a marathon, because you're not going to be rich overnight, right? And
yeah, got to put in the effort.
And get in control. So I just went on my little rant there. Sorry, Ann.
No, I love it. What you said there about, getting that first the sale happens, I call it proof of concept. Like when I went out and sold my Christmas bells, oh, it worked. And that's the same thing with our sellers. And we have them posted in our group page, their first sale. And we celebrate with them because it's like, they see and hear that everyone else is doing it, but it means nothing compared to when you make the sale and you go, look at my sale. And it's either $30, $40, whatever it is. The point is it worked for you, but you'll never know until you take the action to see that actualized. I want to share a real quick story if I could relative to, we do local events a lot. We were just down in Dallas in January. And there's a mother-son team. The mother was implementing our methods, and I'm going to teach and talk about arbitrage, which is very similar to flipping houses, which my brother did. So I want to talk about the concept of arbitrage in just a moment, because that's where we start all our members. But nonetheless, the mom, Shannon, they live in Kentucky, and she saw my ad. She came in, she learned the methods, she's making money. The son, who is working 12-hour shifts, 26 years old with 2 little kids, one who's physically handicapped, and then a 5-year-old, 12-hour shifts during the night. And he'd been there 7 years, so kind of his whole adulthood. He'd heard he was going to get the day shift. He got excited. His hopes are going up. I can have a normal life. I can sleep at night. Oh, new supervisor. He said, no, sorry, you're not going to get this, Spencer. And so he's like, okay, this is my time. This is my moment. I'm going to do what my mom is doing. So he quit his job, and in 2 months' time, hold on, he did it while he was working his job. He did this part-time, the arbitrage method. He quit it in 2 months flat. Okay, now, and I get teary-eyed when I'm interviewing my people, and I have an interview on them, but I brought a dad home. I brought a dad from a 12-hour shift who's burnt out when he gets home. He loves his children. They're beautiful kids. He is home with his children, and he does his business on the side. He doesn't work any near a 12-hour shift. And all because of this method that I'll share with you called arbitrage, he's home with his kids. And so I don't, it's great to have moms home, but I like having dads home too. And I'm very, very big on the family economy and getting families working together to grow income. So 40% of the hands go up at our events when I ask how many of you are doing this as a family business, 40%. But it always starts with one. And when that one person gets success, whether it's the dad, it's the mom, the daughter, whomever, then the rest of the family, before you know it, you got a big family operation going on. So it's really about creating life impacting changes. Shall I explain arbitrage?
Yes, please, because that was my next question. But okay. I do want to comment.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I have this podcast. I'm trying to help people get control of their lives so that they can be who they're supposed to be at home and in places they can go to places they've never been before, if that's what they want to do. So it is emotional. I have people drive hundreds of miles to knock on my front door and tell me, you helped me quit my job yesterday and I don't need a job anymore and I make more than I used to make. And then they get in their car and turn around and drive off. I mean, that's because like at a certain point, and people have heard me say this, and it falls on deaf ears for a lot of people because if you haven't reached this point, you won't understand. But money only does so much for you. And after a certain amount, I can't eat anymore. I can't drink anymore. I really don't want a bigger house or a faster car, or I got everything I want. So then what else is there? And all of a sudden life gets really empty. It gets real empty. Yeah. So the next thing is, well, how do I help so many people out? Anybody, if I could just help one, but then you find out you can help some more. But I tried giving it away and I didn't, and no one did anything. Mm-hmm. I was giving it free, no one did anything. And so that was robbing me of the emotional reward that I expected for the work that I did. I was doing work and no one was doing anything. When I finally started charging some money, I started finding the people that were serious enough and were, it was their time. They were in that position of maturity where they're going, this is my time, like you said. Right. Everyone reaches this point where they go, I can't go on like I've been going on anymore. Something has to change, or I'm going to die like this. I mean, another 20 years like this, what will I have done? You know, and different people, some people never get to that realization, and other people get to it sooner than later. When you say free, you're getting a whole bunch of people that have not come to that realization. So people go, yeah, sure, you really do. Why do you charge? I said, that's why, because I got to get what I want out of it. I want to be on a winning team. When I was giving it away, no one was winning because
exactly. It's called having skin in the game. And
yeah, absolutely.
And I am pretty staunch about that in my economics. When you give things away for free, people don't appreciate it because they didn't put some sweat equity into it. And we are meant to put in sweat. God designed us that way. We are meant to put in some sweat. And if people are adverse to it, they're on the wrong planet. And any kind of policy that fosters, encourage no sweat, where they don't have to act, I'm talking intellectual sweat, physical, whatever, effort. Because there's pride and satisfaction in putting in our own effort versus when it's a handout. And now handouts are appropriate in certain instances, but when it becomes an overarching cultural philosophy, we got a serious issue where we kind of feel the aftermath of that when everything's a handout.
If you want to defeat your enemy, bomb them. If you want to devastate them, subsidize them.
Thank you. That is exactly it.
I don't invent many things. That's an Mitch Stephen original. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Arbitrage. Now, in my world, arbitrage means I buy a house. I borrow the money at 8% and I loan it out at 10%. So I make an arbitrage of 2%. So I'm going to figure it's kind of the same. It's a spread. Yeah. But how does the arbitrage work with you?
Yes, very similar to that. So basically, it's when you buy a product low and you sell it for high. And in this case, you buy low, you sell high on Amazon. We have 3 different arbitrage methods. One is a local retail arbitrage where all you need is your smartphone. You need an app that Amazon created for this very purpose, where you can scan a product and you have to have an Amazon seller account, and it will bring up all the data for everything: profit, cost, Amazon fees, how many others, everything. And then we have a 12-step checklist, because the name of the game on Amazon is it's all about the data. It's all about the numbers and knowing how to properly evaluate those, so that as an investor, you invest just like real estate, same thing. You invest into a product, I got this Sharpie pen in front of me. You invest in this product and you're going to turn around and sell it for a profit on Amazon. Naturally, not all products are more profitable on Amazon, only so many, and you have to find them. So we have local retail arbitrage, and I've not had any course in my 15 years teaching online that exceeds the results of that single program that teaches local retail arbitrage. Quitting jobs, paying off debt, buying homes, buying cars, assisting family members, mobile lifestyle, you name it. That's through local retail arbitrage, that particular method. Again, it's because it's all about the numbers. So I have, for example, we have this little evaluation card that our members have when they go to the store. So they're making a smart, savvy decision, not, oh, that looks like a really cool product. Doesn't matter. Has nothing to do with the appearance or what you think about it. Like an ugly house, right?
The less probably going to sell, or the less profits in it. So the stuff that will make the money is you would have never thought about.
Like a refrigerator filter that I found at Walmart. They were in the clearance aisle, my husband and I, when we were in Bloomington, Minnesota. And it was like I hit a gold mine. They're just ugly boxes, nothing attractive because it's a refrigerator filter. But man, did they have nice profit margins. Bought them all. It was about 12 or 15 of them. And it was like a $25 profit on each because they're in clearance. Just this ugly looking product, but very practical. People apparently need these, right? So, but the one that we really steer people towards, and it's definitely this arbitrage method, relative to coronavirus, and also more so relative to what we teach are 3 pillars of e-commerce success. Generate cash flow, number 1. Number 2 is to automate that system, just like you want to be in a true B quadrant business owner. And the last one is to build assets. So cash flow, automate those systems, build assets. So the next method, online arbitrage, for which we're going to do a webinar for your folks so they can learn about online arbitrage, is you meet all 3 objectives. You're going to generate cash flow. That's the most important, because we don't want your family income having to fund your business. We want your business funding itself. So those profits you get, you're going to just flip right back into more products. That is done all online, and we have a special resource, a software that helps people do that sourcing, the vetting of those products, so you're making a smart investment. And basically it shows up on the far right of the spreadsheet. Green means go or money. Yellow means proceed with caution, and red means no. And that's based on profits and ROI. and velocity, the speed of which those products are selling on Amazon. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. So none of us want to have a glorified job through a business. Is we also teach people, we give them our systems, and we help them develop a team through virtual assistants who cost about $2 to $3 an hour, who will do their work for them. Okay, so it's outsourced to the Philippines. I have Philippines on my staff. It's mostly US based, but I kind of thought you did, because I was working, I think, with one of your VAs or one of your staff, and I thought, I have a feeling he's a VA. So
I have 6. So
6 VAs.
To lead in, I mean, to compare.
Yeah.
You know, I seller finance houses. I seller finance 100 houses a year. So I created an income stream that kind of, this is a residual. Once I do it, it comes in for many, many years.
Yeah.
But then I was stuck doing everything that it took to do all that. So I systematized. Today, I haven't seen the last 400 houses I bought. I have not talked to or even seen or do not even know the names of the last 400 people that bought my house. Okay. So that was the systematized part. And then I take the money that I make from flipping houses or seller financing houses, because I do about 30% one-time check, you know, buy it, sell it, I'm done.
Right.
And I do about 70%. I sell it on a 30-year note, fixed, no balloon.
Oh.
You know what? Give me at least 10% down, and you owe me for 30 years. And I'm not a landlord. So I got that done. But I take the money I make from those 2 strategies and I buy self-storages, because that's forever. That's the asset that goes forever. I get my depreciation.
Yep.
The rents go up over the years. The debt goes down, or there is no debt if you pay up, if you build it out of your pocket. And that's going to go as long as I want. So I'm right in there with the 3 pillars that you said.
Perfect.
Those pillars, you should think about that no matter what business you're in, right?
Absolutely. And that those pillars should be true in any business you're going to evaluate, any business model. Are all of those met? Generate cash flow. Can you automate systems? You went and you did that, and you're building assets off of those first 2 activities. So yeah, those are bedrock for e-commerce, but they also pretty much use that as a filter going forward of anything you evaluate. And if it doesn't have it, just keep running looking.
So because if you're really good at tracking what she's saying right now and like going through the stages of that and doing it, your goal is to work yourself out of a job. You should be able to run it from anywhere in the world that you can get a phone connection and if you're really good at it, you don't even need an internet connection or a phone connection, because it's handled, you know, at least for a certain period of time. Now, I'm a strong advocate that if you don't watch your business for very long, someone will break it for you, but because it's not theirs. You know, unless you have a very special person in place. But
100% agree.
So that kind of throws me. So what I was surprised about in your last comment was, I thought maybe you picked a segment of products, or you became, you know, like a swimming pool, and then you had everything for swimming pools. But no, yours is like random. I find anything that is being used on a daily basis or regularly, and if I can buy it, if I can find a truckload of it that I can buy for half off, I'm going to sell it. So you don't need like a reputation, because I guess keywords and everything, you just put them on the market for cheaper than everybody else, but you got them so cheap that you can beat everyone, that you're probably going to win.
Exactly. That's it. That's arbitrage. And then another arbitrage course we have is book flipping. It's a specialty category within Amazon, not as scalable.
What is it called?
It's book flipping, book arbitrage. Now, where it can be scaled is textbook arbitrage. And when I say scale, I mean it's offset to someone else to do the work rather than you going to.
That's because people have to keep turning the books in after they're done.
That's right. That's right. So you can get VAs who can do all the search online, especially for textbooks. Textbooks have huge profit margins. And so this is with one of our sellers who created that course. He made a whole month's profit. That's how he bought his home after he lost his business. We lost ours in the windshield industry. He lost his as a physiotherapist in the state of California when a new law came out under Arnold Schwarzenegger about workman's comp. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, relative to that, as my 30, 40 years in business, Government can create one little law and out goes an entire industry, like the tanning industry. About 10, 12 years ago, it took a hit. I don't remember what the law was, but they're all busy making their laws and they don't realize how
I can tell you what,
it
in
hurts.
the state of Texas, they made it illegal to not to have a piece of land note separate from your mobile home note. Like if you were going to get a mobile home and put it on the land, it had to be in one note. So now the person that was buying the mobile home for $35,000 and was getting financed by the mobile home company and was getting an owner finance piece of land from someone like me, I was owner financing the land, they couldn't qualify for the whole thing together. So every mobile home park in the state of Texas went broke. There was 70,000 repos, which was a coup for me. It was a coup for me, but because they passed that law, they broke a whole industry for like 5 years.
Yeah, it's a lack of knowledge as a legislator. Well, that's a whole nother topic. So it's kind of the bane of business owners, and yet, like I said, that ability to adapt.
But as an entrepreneur, we're able to shift.
That's right.
Jerk and jive and like go, okay, like me, I was in the business, sort of. It happened to me on the peripheral because I had always bought mobile homes and land and owner finance them. All of a sudden, I could buy, if I bought 20 mobile homes at a time that were less than 2 years old, I could buy them for $6,000 a piece.
Wow, because of that.
I borrowed $1 million from a bank. I bought 140 mobile homes in 6 weeks, buying them 20 at a time. And then I owner financed them at the time at 14%, all for around $25,000 each. I created $4.8 million worth of notes. It because of wealth comes from chaos.
That's right, and it's happening right now.
Yes, there's chaos now. You have to figure out where the need is and how to fill it. There's a need caused by this chaos, tremendous need.
Absolutely.
Booming Amazon. That need is booming Amazon. They don't want to leave their house. Delivery. It's booming Walmart.
Absolutely. And that is the skill of an entrepreneur, is you live by your astuteness, your ability, because our eyes are always wide open. You know, when we drive down the street, it was like Robert Kiyosaki said, when the rich drive down the street, they see something totally different than the poor person because they built a different lens, and that lens is the ability to see opportunity. Like, to me, it's like, I can spew off so many different, here's what you could do, but you could do this, this, this.
I get it. Like the kids are the best at it sometimes, because sometimes the kids are unfiltered and they're not been drilled in so much, you know? So most of the kids driving down the street, you know, they'll say, look at that ugly house. And, you know, our kids say, hey, that house, we could probably make that house just right. We need that house.
Right.
You know?
They have a completely different lens. And that's why now with this coronavirus, it is very extremely sad, brutal, what's going on. No discounting that. But entrepreneurs are going, there's untold opportunities. I don't know them all. I just know what's happening right now. And for me, I feel blessed and grateful that I put my people in a more secure place, that they're working from home. For one, there's like all these people who now are at home and they're like, what do I do with myself? You build a business. That's what you do. If you got downtime, thank the Lord you got time to grow and build a business now. It's so easy.
Got 30 days that you're going to have to sit on your duff anyways. Why don't you just pick a course, pick hers, pick mine, pick somebody's, and like just immerse yourself in it I mean, the worst things that's going to happen is you're going to learn something you didn't know.
Exactly.
You might be able to apply it someplace else. It might not be that thing, but everyone I know in the real estate industry has spent $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on courses that didn't work out for them. But then they tell me where they're at, and I go, you know, you never would have got here if you wouldn't have gone that path. You know, it was part of your journey to find out what didn't work for you, because it can work. Almost everyone's plan will work if you work it hard enough. It's just every plan is not for everybody.
Exactly. You nailed it right there. You can make almost anything work, but it may not be the right plan for you to work, but you don't know until you're working it. But I always tell people it's about the journey. For heaven's sakes, get engrossed in the journey. You're going to turn out a better person.
It could be a slight shift, and you could be an expert on something that, I mean, on the surface, e-commerce might not be for you. But if you're an expert in a certain product or in guns or whatever, they can, now you're just opening up an avenue to take that expertise and be, this is what's so cool. You can have a business open to the world, to the whole wide world today with hardly any investment. Do you know what it would take to be open to the world 50 years ago?
Yeah, it's all right at your fingertips. Perfect example is my son. He lives in Ningbo, China. And my youngest son sends me this YouTube video of this guy. And he's like, Mom, we should get on this guy's channel. He's from Rob City. And he's talking all about, you know, they're going to flee Ningbo and come to the States. So I send the video to my son in China. He says, yeah, I know him. He's my friend. And I've sourced his products for him. Okay, this guy, his YouTube channel has probably grown to 60 or 70,000 now. He's a recumbent bicycler who goes around the world doing recumbent cycling. And he's created a following.
What does recumbent mean?
With they're more low to the ground and you're sitting down more.
Oh, okay.
And your legs are out in front.
You're reclined, so
recumbent. You're recumbent, yeah. And I'm like, man, he's got this many people following him and he's riding around on a bike. Yep, people will follow you. And so he's learned to monetize that traffic. And now with Corona, he really built up his following because he kept pumping them out because he was going through it. And then my son is like, yeah, I know him. He's my friend. But also want to say it's a small world, but also that was his passion and interest. And he just happened to vlog about it, video blogging, so to speak. So there's opportunity everywhere. And if people, I'm thinking relative to your real estate people, and if people are hard put with finances, you could use e-commerce as a catalyst to build your cash flow to go into real estate. Although I'm sure you probably have other strategies people can use, but that would be a way to get a taste.
Why don't you could sell or invent products that people, real estate investors need, and just have that as what you're offering. Because if you start looking at what your niche needs, it's very big. You know, everything from signs to locks to posts to doorknobs to educational, to contracts, to analyzers, to, you know, there's all kinds of things to sell. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And I didn't know that when I started this podcast. And one day someone said to me, well, not someone, Julie Houston from Houston, the girl that set this up for me.
Right.
One of my VAs, although not from the Philippines, said, well, we're interviewing someone today, and but they have an affiliate program and I signed you up for it. So if they make any products because of the customers that you brought to them through this podcast, you'll get paid. And I was like, hold on, stop right there. Wait a minute. Tell me about this. And then everything changed. I just didn't know.
Yeah, it's infinite. It's absolutely infinite. Yeah. So we start people at Arbitrage only because it's the simplest, fastest way to get going. And then
earn a buck as fast as you can, right? Get them to earn a buck, earn $10,
it's
whatever.
It's so fast. I mean, it can be very frequently, if you follow our steps, as soon as your product lands in the Amazon warehouse, it's sold. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, but if you select on our basis, like in the 1% category, means it's a hot seller. I've literally scanned where I had the #1 item in grocery at that particular moment. It was a Kind bar. I'm like, I'm at the #1 top selling product in groceries, it is. And another one was in households. It was during the school selling season. It was the plastic lunch boxes. And I'm like, am I seeing right? This is #1. But anyways, that's relative to the rank, the speed at which it's selling.
So let me ask you, I'm certainly not going to ask you what you make, but what can people expect to make? And what are some case studies that you know that people made, and how many months or years did it take them? I mean, if she elects to say any numbers, audience, I know this, it's just her opinion. It may not work for you. It's not, right. There's no guarantee for anything, but what are you seeing out there?
Yeah. I'll give the example of Martha, who she had been a former bar and grill owner. And then subsequent to that, she's working at a yacht club. She just did not like it. And so she actively went out looking, what's something I can do from home without having to manage people, because she was kind of burned out from that space. And she just got right to it. She did primarily local retail arbitrage. And in her 10th month in the business, she did 74,000 in sales, to qualify, in sales. And our sellers—
in 1 month or all together?
In 1 month, in December. December is all part of Q1.
In sales. So that's not net profit. So we don't know that number, but
32% roughly. But if she does the discount stacking, we actually have a web class on that coming up, where they can save 92% of their household expenditures. We have a spreadsheet of our gal who's teaching it. She's been doing it for 10 years. 92, it's kind of a little side topic, but it's about keeping more of your money, right? So household expenditure, she brought down to 92%, and she rolls those that into buying her products for Amazon and makes upwards of over 50% in profit.
Okay, but that 10th month, 75,000, say, 30% of that's 25,000 a month. I'm pretty sure most of the people listening here will live very well off of $25,000 a month. I'm saying like 99.9% of them, right?
Yeah, and she didn't maintain that. That was during the Q4 selling season, but she did, I think it was a total of 247,000 or thereabouts for her first 12-year calendar month or calendar year.
And to make a profit in a business the first year you're out used to be unheard of, but businesses like this now are making it more probable that you will, because they took out all the learning curve for you. You know, I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, they built the sales funnel.
Amazon
all you need to do.
Amazon cannot sell every product in the world with their employees. They had to give the opportunity to y'all or people that wanted to take the opportunity, that wanted to learn. And what a perfect system. They only pay when something moves. They only pay out of the money that's on the table. So how does Amazon lose that way? I mean, I'm sure there's ways for them to lose, but they're playing a much bigger game than us. But I'm saying, as a general rule, they're saying if you push a product through our store, we get a piece, you get a piece, the customer gets what they want. Now, how many people can we get trained to do that?
Right.
And there's a billion, trillion, chameleon products to move.
Yeah, their claim is Earth's greatest selection. That's Jeff Bezos' goal. So he very astutely brought in what's called the third-party seller platform, and the third-party sellers now comprise upwards of almost 56% of the volume of products comes from mom and pops. And here's my analogy, is I call it, people look for the redistribution of wealth. I'm not in favor of that model. I'm in favor of this model though, which is the redistribution of opportunity. And so basically what's happening, it used to be the barrier to entry into business was high. You know, we pulled equity out of our house to get into real estate and get going. Here, that barrier to entry is so low that you can get into success very quickly. Or I should say a better comparison is a brick and mortar store. Oh man, signage, that's $8,000. Oh, no, we can't, we're going to be in debt. As one of our members, he had a trophy shop in Southern California. It wasn't until his 5th year, which is the average of when he got into profitability, his 5th year. This is from years ago. He had owned it for 25 plus years. And he also took money out of his home to launch his business, but that's what you did back then. You had to bootstrap and really work hard. He was in profitability in 2 weeks with Amazon. In 2 weeks, he was into profitability. Shocking. It's just shocking.
Beautiful concept. I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day long. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, because I already have like 20 questions, but we don't have time for all that. So first of all, what are you offering to train people to do, or what do you have to get someone started? How they put their little finger in this and get acquainted with you?
Yeah, well, the simplest online business is the name of the web class that we've set up for your listeners. When they go to your page link, then they'll see my link for that. I
want everyone to go to ariinvestorsummit.com/e-commerce, no dash, just ECOMMERCE, okay? And over there, you're going to be offering an introduction to what you offer.
Correct.
And tell us about it. What is the offer?
Okay, this one, simplest online business, we call it that because it is intended to be built for scale and for you to be what's called a non-owner reliant business. That's the goal of this one, which is online arbitrage that I described earlier. Get you into cash flow. You're going to have our systems that you put into place. They're proven systems, and you're going to build assets. So that is through our simplest online business that I'm going to share in this web class that they can find on your page, that registration link. And so they're going to learn the fundamentals of the Amazon seller platform. Like, what is this thing, Ann? How does it work?
It's a webinar, right? This is a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sign up for the webinar, because we're going to get more into detail. We've been kind of talking about it from the 10,000 foot level or whatever. It's going to get a little more intimate, and you'll know more if it's for you or not. I guess that's free. Some people offer. Do you have a free book or anything you have to give away, or?
You can go to our ecommercebusinessschool.com. There's some free training there. We don't actually have a book at this time. So they can go there, and they can also see some case studies, success stories. One of our members, through this same method, the phone one, she moved to Italy. Sadly, she's in Italy right now, and it's not the best there, but
so the point is, go to REInvestorSummit.com/e-commerce, and we'll have anything and everything that she wants to offer over there. Do you speak on this a lot?
Well, I'm trying to get on more and more podcasts. I'm reaching out to local news channels, especially since my son has been one of our instructors, the one who lives in China. So it's kind of a human interest thing. And then we have local events. We've done events primarily in Dallas and then up in Bloomington, Minnesota. And those are our two hubs. And my goal, my dream, Mitch, is, you were speaking of mobile homes earlier, is to have a big mobile home that we do an East Coast tour, going from city to city to city to city, a Midwest tour, and a West Coast. I'm not there yet, but that is.
You know, you were talking about an RV, a recreational wheel. Mine was a mobile home, which was you rolled it and then you took the wheels off and you planted it there.
Thank you for the distinction.
So you wanted to get one of those $500,000 RVs where you don't even know that you're not in a house, and then
pretty much. Yeah,
I love that idea. You know what? I'm going to predict that this is going to happen.
Thank you.
Because you seem like a person that when you put your mind to it, it's going to happen. So I will not be surprised at all if I am driving down the highway someday and say, I think that's her, because that was the name of the .com she told me.
I'll have my web address and my phone number on both.
Right. So go to REInvestorSummit.com/e-commerce, all one word, ECORMMERCE, and check it out. Get on that webinar. If you don't have to jump off a cliff and quit your job and start, just do part-time, work your way into it, get a little proof of concept, see some checks coming in, and then, only you can decide what might be possible if you went full-time. But don't put yourself under the gun, like right off the bat. Keep the status quo, keep it going. You're going to have to burn a little midnight oil or burn some extra hours, because I don't know an entrepreneur in the world that is self-employed right now and done everything that didn't have to work 2 jobs for a while. The job that paid the bills and the ones he was trying to, the business he was trying to get off the ground. I know hundreds of them, They're all the same. So if you're that kind of person, let's check out this website, and the sky's the limit in this kind of business. Is there borrowing? Do you borrow money sometimes for product?
There is a loan. Amazon is an amazing ecosystem. They do provide loans to the Amazon sellers.
They see your track record, right? They see your
That's definitely a part of it. I think it's called Cabbage is their loaning service. So yes, there are people who do that. And there's people who find loans or money outside that as well, because it's basically a game of, to get the big numbers, is you got to drive money in for money to turn. It's like an ATM machine. Is how I look at Amazon. Shove products in, money and profit out. Shove it in. It's just one big ATM machine.
Don't you wish sometimes you would have highly documented every penny from the very beginning? I wish I would have in the business. I took $10,000 off this credit card and I made this, and then I rolled it back in. And so that you could say, you want to know exactly how it happened? This is exactly how it happened, and this is how much time it took for everything. I wish. But back then we were just so involved in trying to make it work that we didn't have
that we didn't think at that level. But it is true. You make a really good point that that takes some boldness and courage. But what people could do, there's a free blog of sorts called Facebook, if you even want it that way, where you could just be quote unquote blogging every day if you didn't have a website yet, where you're just saying, hey, I'm going on this journey. And people, trust me, they're going to gather around and be peering into your aquarium going, what is he doing?
Center there, because if you drive those people to, and I think you're going to get paid. So, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? So there's, right off the bat, you end up inventing a product that wasn't even really on the chart, because that's what I would be doing. I'd be documenting myself and then figuring out a relationship with you and your courses, and I say, hey, if I move a bunch of people over to your courses, will you pay me? It's just affiliate marketing, right?
Affiliate marketing. That's, we have an affiliate program as well. But yeah, the good news is it has kind of like that phrase, for such a time as this, here I am with this, wow, I've got something, Amazon is exploding and we have all these people home, they're scared. And I'm telling them, guys, this is a time of opportunity. Have eyes wide open, give it a test drive. And another thing is we have a staff member, she taught her daughter when she was 9 years old. By the time she was 11, she knew how to run the entire Amazon business. Kids can learn this. I mean, families unite.
They're smart.
They are smart.
If they can get interested in it, they're not going to be worth a dang if they're not interested. But if they get interested, hey, I can't even program my TV unless I call a 4-year-old.
That's us. So, yeah, well, thank you. I wanted to say thank you for having me on. And
you're very interesting. And, you've got, I may be sending a few people personally to you because I know people that are looking for something. And maybe this is for them. I'll let them listen to the webinar myself and say, do you want to pursue it? I have family members that are really struggling right now because this time in our lives has shut their business down. Instead of sitting around and going in the hole, since there's nothing you can do about it, let's spend the 30 days to see if there's a different opportunity out there that might change the whole course of your life.
Absolutely.
All right. So go to ariainvestorsummit.com/e-commerce. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on, Ann.
You're welcome.
And, I hope you guys take a look at that webinar that we're going to put up, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitch, for having me.
All right, listeners, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by to get you some Ann, Sieg, and Sieg.
Sieg, you got it. That's right. No.
And please, I hope you have a great week. I hope you accomplish your goals. If you haven't found that one thing for you, don't give up. It's out there. Find it. I don't really care. Real estate, online commerce, juggling clown in a circus, whatever turns you on, just get there and win, okay? So this is Mitch Stephen with the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast, and we're out of here. Bye now. Bye, Ann.
Bye-bye.